This is a screencast that will demonstrate how to use the software Mathematica for doing calculations with quadratic equations. Mathematica is built for math, and it is very easy to use. You don't have to code things from scratch. A lot of the functions that you will need are built in. So for example, one of the common tasks of quadratic equations is to find their roots, which is the same thing as solving for x. So we can have Mathematica do this for us. X squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. So there we used a Mathematica function called solve, pretty obviously named as to what it does. And then we have a quadratic equation. And notice that we had to press equal twice. And now we're ready to solve this. In a flash, Mathematica found the roots of this equation. It solved them for x. X could take the values -3, or x could take the values of 1. And when it does, the whole thing is equal to 0. And you can see this if you would graph this function. You would see when it equals to 0 is when x is equal to -3 or x is equal to 1. So let's show that. So this will be two steps. First, we have to define the function. So there's some mathematical notation here. So we would say, let's call our function f, and then we would have open brackets. As you can see, Mathematica uses brackets. And we have x underscore, then colon equals. And this will tell Mathematica, hey, we're defining a function. Whenever we say f of something, what we want to happen is that we want to take that something, we want to square it, then we want to double it and add that to the part that we squared, and then we want to subtract 3, right? That's what we want to do. That's our function. Let's run this function. By the way, if you want to run something in Mathematica, there's a little button here that says evaluate, and you could also press shift plus enter. Okay, so now our function is defined actually. And so Mathematica will know what we're talking about if we say f open brackets something close brackets. And now we need another function to make a picture. It's called plot. Again, it's a good name, very easy to see what it does. And let's plot it. So now we're plotting the function f of x, and we have to tell Mathematica what values we want x to take. This is the same thing as saying what domain we're interested in. So it's from -5 to +5, and let's see what happens. We could press shift enter now, or press the little run button. Whoa, we got a big graph here. Let's shrink this down a little bit. And we see this is a picture of this quadratic equation when it's graphed. And indeed, it's 0 when x either takes the value of 1 or -3. You can see these are the roots. Now, also you could look up some properties that quadratic equations have. So there's a property called discriminant, and we'll discuss what this is. So let's suppose a equals 2, and b equals 3, and c equals 1. These are like coefficients in the quadratic equation. And let's suppose we want to see what would be the discriminant if we had a quadratic equation that said, for example, ax squared plus bx plus c for the domain x. What we can see here is that this is just your general quadratic equation, but here we're going to find the discriminant when a is equal to 2, b equals to 3, c equals to 1. Okay, and the discriminant is 1. Okay, that's cool. And I suppose you wanted to find the vertex, right? So a vertex, conceptually, what is the vertex? It's either the maximum or the minimum So we're going to use another function. This one is called minimize. And when we put in the formula here, just copy and paste to save some time. And there it is. The function has a minimum when x is equal to -3/4 and y is equal to -1/8. So that's an example of how you can use Mathematica. If the quadratic equation was um, upside down, if it had a negative a, you would use maximize.